Hi, everyone. Welcome to IBI's podcast. We're chatting today with Brandon Roberts, our COO. He's kicking off our Get to Know the IBI Team series that we're doing this month. So, welcome, Brandon. Thank you for joining me.
Of course, Sarah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're our first one.
No, great. It's an honor.
So, let's start, real basic. Tell us, a little bit about yourself and your role at IBI.
Sure. So for my career, I started off being from Washington, D.C. I started off working as an intern in the government, while I was in college in Indiana, I got as an intern into the finance HR realm. And so I kind of stuck with that. Yeah, I did my internship at Office of Personnel Management, which is like the HR branch of the federal government. And so that's where I decided to do as my major as HR. And then from there, once I graduated, I was, I don't know if you know, but along with the government, DC is really big, probably the biggest as far as associations and nonprofits,
right?
As a workforce. So I got into the association world after the government world, after the government internship, and it started at the American Physical Therapy Association, where I was there for 7 years. I ended up being an assistant controller, associate director. Started as just a finance. I think it was finance tech or finance analyst or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and then moved over to DC's branch of the American College of Surgeons, where I was the director of finance and operations there for 7 years. And then when I decided to move to the West Coast, my first job was at IBI. I worked with the original staff of Tom Perry and Kim Jeanette, and I've been with IBI for 7 years now, since 2018. I started with the meetings, HR and finance functions at IBI. And since IBI has grown in those areas, I kind of just developed my role in that and just kept increasing our meetings, as you know, and increasing all levels of IBI, increasing our staff and everything like that. So I've been involved with all that turnover and everything.
Right now, you're like the OG staff at IBI, right? You're the one from back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. I am the longest tenured staff member here. So.
At the moment, yeah, you are. Yeah. So, and right now, what's your title?
It's Chief Operating Officer.
So, could you describe your role at IBI in a way that someone outside of our industry might understand?
Sure. So for operations for IBI, it contains, like I mentioned, the human resources, finance, and now meeting logistics functions of IBI. Mm-hmm. So that includes really anything benefits oriented. For HR, I handle all the staff benefits, and for the finance part, I handle our investments and the accounting. And for the meetings part, I work with our partners. Our members really to host various regional programs, but our annual forum, which takes place annually since I've been here since 2018, and ever since. And of course, I don't know if the audience knows, but we've reinstituted the research committee and turned it into a research summit, which is now an educational program that we're going to host annually, as well as some regional events. So all the meeting logistics that go into that, whether it be, it's mostly to do with registration, marketing of our events, and also, just the setting up speakers, the AV, and food and beverage, which is always important to our conference attendees.
Yeah, you always make our in-person meetings such a success. And yes, the food and beverage is always really good.
Yes, I try.
So what's a typical day like for you at IBI?
Typical day, let's see. So I basically kind of break my day up into those three categories, really. I deal as you may or may not know, we're always reviewing our benefits, how we can make our employer experience better. So right now we're reviewing our health benefits to see how we can, better provide better benefits for our employees, just as our members do. And basically we review everything, whether it be the employee handbook, whether that's usually updated every year. And that involves like retirement, how we can improve there, how we can improve on PTO, how we can improve, just with the small things, getting staff what they need. And so I use, I guess, part of the day or part of the week on that. And the rest is more finance. The finance portion is more administrative. Right. So it's more, of course, you send out like travel expenses and reconciling during the month. And of course, the monthly closing. And as our audience knows, some of our audience members will know, they get invoices from me.
Yeah, you're the money man.
Yeah. And the reminders too. So, and for the meetings is new because, under the leadership of Jim Huffman, our CEO, we've been taking a real initiative to have more regional programs, and so with that comes not only marketing but setting up a registration website, finding the right picture for the website, setting up, the credit card portal so folks can pay.
Right. Yeah. All the logistics.
The speaker info. And then, of course, you have to find a venue. So for all these places right now, last year we did 3 regional meetings, and I think we're aiming for 4 this year. We have 3 scheduled. But so that also includes the speakers, like getting their headshots and bios and applying that to the website, and then getting it all ready to putting a full agenda together for our audience or for our members that they can relate and be educated as well as informed, I guess. More educated.
Those have been pretty well received. I think people are enjoying those regional meetings, the smaller, kind of more intimate settings, because I'm speaking of 2 of the ones that you talked about, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I'm glad you are, because especially when you speak, you deal with like how our members really want to know how more than why, like how can we implement this?
Yeah.
Why are you informing us of this? And so like with that regional meeting settings, we get a chance to, answer questions on how they can implement this, take this back, how they can, administrate, do better, like for benefits administration or product development, and like increase their what they offer to their employees that way. So,
yeah, absolutely. What current project or initiative that you're working on right now that you're most excited about?
Oh, I would go back and say to the regional programs. Of course, our annual forum is a big deal for me, because as I mentioned before, since 2018, when I was first here, we were doing it all on our own. And since we partnered with the conference board, I got a bigger role in, putting the agenda together and making sure it's something that our attendees actually want to hear, or want to actually attend or come to or travel to. And so that's always exciting, like when we do that every year, because we have a proposal process where we send out a blast email to all our members and non-members where they can submit their proposal. And it's great to see how what's new in the world of benefits, and what point solutions are being offered, or what products are being offered, or what what the new topics are. And it's kind of like seeing into the future what the new challenges are for our workforce in the United States and around the world. So
that's really cool. Yeah, our forum is incredible. Like the job you do for that is unbelievable every year. I'm like amazed, and it's such good turnout and such good information. You're right. It's like getting a portal into the future on what's coming.
Yeah, yeah, and I really get excited because people, like, I got emails today about that people are actually looking forward to this event. Like, they're like, "Oh, why can't I? What's our code?" Or "How can I register?" Or "Am I supposed to? How many days should I be there? Can I get there early?" Those sort of questions. So, and I'm getting, and that's what, 6 months from now. So
Yeah, that's
so to
amazing.
get those, yeah. So to get that, it's kind of exciting. And it should be a great event.
What's something challenging about your role that you've grown to appreciate?
Actually, as I mentioned, for our educational sessions, I'm actually learning as well to better serve our staff as far as benefit implementation on our side. So I think that's a challenge with the staff size we have.
Yeah, we're tiny.
It's very difficult. Yeah. It's very difficult to get like the best package of benefits, but we kind of supplement that in other ways where, I don't know, we can, there's many ideas like for, PTO or shortened work week or stuff like that we always evaluate like every year to make ourselves, not only to make our staff feel comfortable, but where IBI can, increase productivity and health as well for our employees. So I think, we have to practice what we preach.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Kind of practice what we preach, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but it's very challenging with our staff size. So, but it's interesting to see what's out there.
Absolutely, and I bet there's so much to choose from.
Yeah.
So, speaking about our team, how would you describe the culture at IBI to someone considering maybe joining our team?
I would say, I don't want to say like relax. It's just where everybody, even though we're collaborative, everybody has their job. They know their job. They don't need to be micromanaged or job. They I know you have like our research team, they have their projects. They don't need, the COO coming in and saying, "Hey, what's the latest update with this or what's that?" Because I just know you guys are already on top of it. And so that's the best part. It's like, I don't need to, a status update from you personally, because it just comes along with how we structure our meetings, how we structure our staff meetings, and how I know, like, if we have a research project and somebody pays us our member pays us to do a study or pays us for a study, then I know like the timeline because of how we communicate,
right,
and naturally. So just checking in is more of a check-in than I guess staff meeting or staff update. So
yeah, I agree with that. I think like we kind of like work like a well-oiled machine together. Right. Our collaboration is great. Like I think about if I have to take PTO, I don't feel like something's gonna, fall off or be not taken care of. And so that's a really comforting feeling. I could like depend on my team members.
Yeah. And to that point, we actually, I want to use this as an example. So back in 2018, 2019, we had a staff preparedness for if something happened where we couldn't go into work. We wanted to make sure everybody worked from home. So we had a week or so where everybody worked from home just in case.
Oh,
yeah. And so we had set up laptops and phones. We had our phones forwarded to our cell phones, and just to make sure everything worked. And just so you know, it like, as you
talk
know,
about foresight.
Yeah, 6 months later that happened. So it's like we have the freedom to do that, and just like we're prepared to work from home before it was even a thing.
Yeah,
before COVID existed, and so
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of the research on work models, and I'm glad we're staying remote.
yeah, exactly.
What's your favorite team tradition or memory at IBI?
Ooh, I would say the dinners, like with our board. I would say our board dinners or our board activities. Because that's where we get to hear from both our employer and supplier members and on basically what's going on. And everybody says what's keeping them up at night now.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but what we're going through, the challenges they're experiencing. You know, we have a great board from Fortune 500 companies, and it's just interesting to hear from them and like their challenges and just regular conversations, not like selling. It's just like, different companies are really excited about the solutions they're providing, and then there's some companies that accompany our board representatives that are really worried about the challenges of their employees, and it just comes out in a regular conversation. And so I enjoy that part.
I agree with you. For the last few meetings we've had, our board dinners have been really, really fun and informative. The last one in Vegas, I sat with a couple of our female board members, and we just had a wonderful time talking about work and motherhood and life and just really engaging conversation. I agree with that a lot. I like that tradition at our meetings to have those, just kind of more casual settings.
Yeah, me too. And plus, I've gotten to know a lot of our board members from the Phil Lacey who retired to the Kevin Meads who've been there. They've both been there since IBI's inception. Jackie Reinberg, and just they're updating me on their lives. So, I feel like I've known them forever, and so and Scott Daniels too. I have to mention him.
I agree with that, because from my perspective, you're seeing them from, since you've joined, and I'm seeing them kind of as they're, on their way out, but as mentors. And so it's been really great. So tell me a little bit about what strength or skill that you bring to your role that might surprise people.
I don't know if it's a surprise. I'd like to think I'm open to everything, but I guess I would say maybe since I've worked from home for so long, the ability to connect with people and just reach out. I feel like, and I really feel good about this, when people approach me at the forum, they feel like they know me already because they talk to me so much, even with through email. So I say that part of communication, I feel like I really enjoy when our members feel comfortable just approaching me at any time or just to say hello, or or maybe I messed up something, or maybe they're apologizing for something. But we haven't seen each other face to face, but I've known them. They introduce themselves from conversations, and especially our new members. I feel like, I don't know, like I don't want to say a rock star, but I feel appreciative when they, come up to me, recognize me, and recognize our staff too, to work with you. I mean, just most of the time, they just say thank you. I would also say I gotten more into investments lately, and so having IBI not be in the red on that.
That's good.
Yeah.
How do you? No, go on.
No, I was going to say the communication more than that.
Yeah, it's the same for me, because I think people will be surprised to know that I'm an introvert at heart. And it doesn't come across like that, I know, like when we're in person, and so people are surprised to find that out.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. How do you recharge outside of work? I know you're a new dad. How's that going?
It's going great. To be honest, I'm loving every second of it.
Aww.
I thought it would be more busy, but it's more fun, actually.
That's great.
Seeing my daughter grow up before our eyes, it's just been incredible, and I can't believe that I've gotten this far. And I got to be her dad, but it's just an amazing feeling. And to recharge is actually I just been, I've moved recently around south of San Francisco, from South San Francisco to closer to San Jose, and just there's a lot of things to do that I didn't realize. A lot of people don't know that San Jose is a top 15, 10 one of the biggest cities in America, and I think the second or third biggest city in California. So it's just so much to do here, and just I'm thinking about I'm joining a new gym and taking like those type of classes, like bike class. People don't know this, but I take spin class every Saturday.
Oh, wow. That's a fun fact.
And it's very competitive.
Man.
And it's a class where they put like your stats on top, so we're basically racing each other.
Wow.
And I've developed some friendships from that, and so that's
great. And I know you like to golf.
Yeah,
a few of our board members, you guys do that sometimes.
Yeah, I do that on Sunday. Yes.
Oh, so spin on Saturday, golf on Sunday. I see. That makes sense.
Yeah, and it's a good way to. I've been golfing less now, but because of our baby, but it's
right.
But I still get in a good amount.
What's something you're learning or a skill you're currently developing? It doesn't have to be work related. Anything.
You know what? It's funny. I actually took a webinar. I didn't tell anybody I was taking it, or I was very interested to see on how it was. I think it was called how to an unconventional way to improve meetings, and and so I've with this role I just was interested in to see what other people were doing, and it was. And this was about a couple of weeks ago, and it was just very interesting to see. They had ideas where if you're a security company, you walk around like with a Secret Service person, you don't say anything. You just have people come up to you, and then you're like, hey, if you want, if you value security, here's our card. And so they had like a person just walking around with like security guards, and everybody was like wondering what they were or who they were, and so whoever approached them, they found out. And so like I thought that was very interesting in the way. Or another one was to use ads in like the bathroom stalls. Another company did this where they're like, value your privacy, come see this company.
That's smart.
And they were talking about doing things like passing out socks. You find one sock, but you had to, they would send you a sock, but you had to like mingle with people to find your sock mate. So you had one sock, somebody you didn't know had the other, and you had to like find them within the course of the conference. So I thought things like
that's interesting. That's cool. Yeah.
And a way to, network. So just things like that.
Yeah, that's neat. And it's relevant, so relevant to what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
What excites you most about the future of IBI?
I know you're probably going, oh, maybe you'll like this. But the focus we have on research now. And how, like the research summit, how we weren't sure how it was going to go. It was a brand new idea that I actually took from one of my other jobs. Well, at my last association, we had the annual forum, and then they had something for the surgeons called in-depth review, where they would just study case studies, and everybody, even though it was there were fewer attendees for that, people always loved that meeting because they got to see what was next, and like they used to evaluate case studies, and they evaluate abstracts, and they see peer-reviewed articles and just talk about them and give them awards and stuff like that. And I feel like that's what we're heading towards like, for our meeting, not only our meeting, but our research. I feel like our audience wants something like that. They rather be, like I said, more educated than informed. So I think IBI provides that at its core, and I'm looking forward to see that expand.
That's great. I agree with you completely. I think our research summit was, for the inaugural one, it was fantastic, and it could only get better. And I'm really excited about our focus on research. I mean, I'm biased. I'm the senior researcher here, but still, I think it's amazing, and our members love the work we're doing, which makes it so much better to do.
Yeah. And we got to get you more team members. And I'm looking forward to that.
More research,
Yeah, for more research all the time, because that's what our members want. That's what I want. And that's what IBI is about.
Well, that leads to my next question, which is really good. If you could implement one change or innovation at IBI, what would it be?
Oh, change or innovation? That's a good question. I'm not sure. There's nothing that that's on the horizon that we're not trying to implement already. Since that I can think of off the top of my head. I will say that I wish we had time to improve our our meetings more, where we can actually do what the big conferences do, which I know we have boat parties and stuff like that, but we have events where we actually have more networking, where whether it be golf, or whether it could be paint, sipping paint type of just any other opportunity to get our
more engagement.
More engagement with our members, and so we get to know them more and that sort of thing. I'm trying to think of anything else, but I feel like we're constantly trying to improve in those areas. It's like everything we handle. So I'll let you know if I come up with anything else.
I'm gonna do a few quick fire round ideas. Choose 3 or 2. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Early bird or night owl?
I was going to say, sorry. I've probably had less than 5 coffees in my life, but good.
I know. At Forum, I see you and I'm like, well, how are you not drinking coffee?
No. I don't know. I'm scared of it, I guess. I don't know.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Me too, yeah. Summer or winter?
Ooh, summer, I guess.
What's one app on your phone you couldn't live without?
Honestly, I don't have social media, but I do have YouTube, and and that's how I stay informed with, I guess, culture.
What's your go-to productivity hack?
I would say, just to be honest, just writing down things that I'm going to do today and just marking them off.
Yeah, it's just like instant gratification when you can scratch that off your list.
Yeah. So I have a daily list.
And my final question for you is, what's the best piece of career advice you've received?
The best career advice I received was maybe, learn as much as you can, I guess, outside. I think, I'm trying to think who told me this, but it's just like, I remember like one of my supervisors or directors was just like, you get a task, you complete it, but you don't really wonder why we're doing this, or how this was early on, or why this is important. So just try to get involved more in that, and you see like the association differently. And from there, she taught me that, like, when I've never done budget before, and it was the first time doing an organization budget, and at the time it was about 37 to 40 million, something like that, our total budget. And she just So every department had multiple departments. This was like on the American Physical Therapy Association, probably like a 200-person association, but we had like 85,000 members at the time.
Wow.
And each, we had an art department, and we had just certain small things, like of course the mailroom, and they all had their small budgets.
Right.
And I basically learned the association just from the descriptions in the budget, and I learned so much about like how we function internally, what our members' needs are externally, and you just get to know. Try to get to know as much as you can about, like, put yourself in the member's shoes and learn it from all sides.
That's great advice. Just kind of keep learning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Roberts, that's the end of our conversation. I really appreciate you taking some time to chat with me and being the first one in our series.
Yeah, my 15 minutes of fame right here.
Yeah, 15 minutes of fame. All right. Well, we'll be back with, I'm not sure who yet, maybe Carol or Zoram for our next episode. And our CEO and President, Jim Huffman, will be the last one to round up this series. So thank you, Brandon.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
That wraps up this episode of Research Roundup by Integrated Benefits Institute. We hope you found the insights valuable and the research thought-provoking. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us to improve and bring you the content you need. Don't forget to share this podcast with your colleagues and network. Join us next time as we continue to explore the latest trends and research in employee health and well-being and workplace productivity. Until then, stay curious and keep learning.